Ever wondered about the science that's just, hiding out in your own home? Well, today, we're going to turn your everyday spaces into a full-blown laboratory of wonders. Let's get started and uncover some of those secrets hiding in plain sight.
So, let me ask you this. When you think of a science experiment, what pops into your head? Is it a bunch of bubbling beakers, some super complex machinery, maybe scientists in those white lab coats? Yeah, most of us picture that. But what if I told you that's not the whole story? Not even close.
Because the real truth is, some of the most mind-blowing scientific principles can be explored right from your kitchen counter or your living room floor. Your home is literally a playground for discovery, just packed with all this amazing potential. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by sparking that curiosity. Then we'll cover the super important scientist safety code. After that, we'll get our hands dirty with some kitchen chemistry and a little physics in action before we wrap things up and send you off on your very own scientific adventure.
Okay, so let's kick things off with that spark. I mean, why even bother turning your kitchen into a lab? Believe me, it is about so much more than just making a fun mess. These at-home experiments are incredibly powerful. They help build skills that are absolutely crucial, like critical thinking and problem solving. And they're a fantastic way to bond with your family. Best part, they use simple stuff you already have around the house, which makes them so accessible. This isn't about memorizing things from a book. It's about real, hands-on learning that can ignite a genuine, lifelong passion for science.
Now, before any great discovery, every single scientist prepares their lab. Think of this less like a list of boring rules and more like a professional code. It's what ensures our explorations are not only successful, but safe. So let's cover that right now. First things first, prep. You always want to gear up with some safety goggles, maybe some gloves, just to protect yourself from any splashes. And make sure you set up shop in a spot with good airflow and a nice clutter-free workspace. Seriously, a prepared lab is the very first step to an awesome experiment.
All right, with our lab all prepped, it is time for our first discoveries. We're heading straight to the kitchen, where some really simple ingredients are about to create some spectacular chemical reactions. And we are starting with an absolute classic that everybody loves, the baking soda and vinegar volcano. It's simple, it's super dramatic, and honestly, it's the perfect introduction to the world of chemistry.
And look how easy this is. All you're going to need is some baking soda, vinegar, any small container, and a tray to catch that awesome overflow. I bet you have all of this in your kitchen right now.
The process is just as simple. Just put your container on the tray, add your baking soda. You can even throw in a little food coloring if you want to make it extra dramatic. And then slowly pour in the vinegar. Then just stand back and watch it erupt.
So what's actually going on here? Well, it's not magic. It's a classic acid-base reaction. See, the vinegar is an acid, and it reacts with baking soda, which is a base. When they mix, they create a huge rush of carbon dioxide gas. That gas expands like crazy, and it has to go somewhere, which is what gives you all that incredible fizzing and bubbling. Pretty cool, right?
All right, from a fizzing volcano, let's move on to something a little more groovy. We're going to use a few more kitchen supplies to build our very own lava lamp. But before we build it, let's talk about the key idea here, density. It's super simple. Oil is less dense than water. That's why it always floats on top, right? Like in salad dressing. Well, that little fact is the entire secret to our lava lamp's mesmerizing effect. So the setup is totally straightforward. Start with a bottle, fill it about a quarter full of water, add some color, and then slowly fill the rest with oil. Now for the magic. Drop in a piece of an Alka-Seltzer tablet. That tablet reacts with the water, creating these little gas bubbles that grab onto blobs of colored water, carry them up through the oil, and then they gently sink back down. Instant lava lamp. Okay, so we've explored some chemistry. Now it's time to switch gears and see some honest-to-goodness physics in action. And we're going to do it with nothing more than a few party supplies.
Yep, it's time for liftoff. We are going to demonstrate one of the most important laws of motion ever, just by building a simple but incredibly effective balloon rocket.
And the materials. They could not be simpler. You just need a balloon, some string, a regular drinking straw, and a bit of tape. Seriously, that is all it takes to explore the very same concept that sends actual rockets into space.
The setup takes, what, a minute? Just run your string across the room, thread the straw onto it, blow up your balloon, but don't tie it, and then tape it to the straw. Now for the final step. Let go and watch that thing fly.
And what you just saw brilliantly illustrates one of the most famous laws in all of science, Newton's third law of motion. The action is the air rushing out of the back of the balloon. The equal and opposite reaction is the balloon getting pushed forward along the string. It's really that simple, and that profound.
So, we've made a volcano erupt, we've built a lava lamp, and we've launched a rocket. But these experiments aren't just one-off party tricks. They're actually the beginning of a much bigger journey.
So here's what it all boils down to. Doing science at home builds that critical thinking muscle. It proves that you can see these big, complex theories in action with the simplest stuff. And hey, if you want to take it a step further, try keeping a science journal to document your results. But really, above all else, the most important thing is to just stay curious and keep asking questions.
Remember that picture we started with? The idea of a fancy, high-tech lab? Let's just toss that idea right out the window. Your real laboratory is all around you, every single day, just waiting for you to start exploring.
So I'm going to leave you with this to think about as you start looking around your home with totally new eyes. With your own curiosity and just a few simple items, what scientific wonder are you going to discover next?